Okay, so today, this day, we are going on a quest. Purpose of the day today, to find the body of Saint Francis Xavier. I've heard that he's buried here, and yeah, I think that's pretty sick. So I think it's a worthwhile expedition to go forth and venture into old Goa, the relic of a former empire that lasted in this part of India for 500 years. Vasco da Gama arrived on the shores of the Malabar coast in 1524. 500 years later, here we are. Let's go. How you doing? Alright, check this out. New exciting snacks and cold drinks available. It is currently closed. I'm not sure why that is, but there are some really funky statues around here to check out. So let's take a look. And it would appear that this is a school as well. So a school, a museum, a cafe, all in one. And it's in the most optimal location imaginable. So yeah, take a look. I too am very curious as to the purpose and significance of these statues behind me. Let's take a look around and see if we can discern what's going on here. Stage here for shows, and around the corner here we have a wee little amphitheater. Very nice. Check it out. And on the wall here, the wall is entirely made of bottles. Every single one of these walls is. So, yeah, getting warmed up on our way to find the body of Saint Francis Xavier, and we've got these very cool little statues. I'm currently here in the town of Pina de Franca. Interesting name, right? Not so interesting when you know that the Portuguese were here in India for 500 years. It's still pretty interesting. But anyway, check out this view from Pina de Franca. This is something called an open air hall. Open air hall. I don't really know what that means, but they're having a great time on this yacht right in front of me, so I'll show you that. This is the Mapsa River. It's huge, obviously. And across this river is where we're traveling today, to Old Goa. The relic of what was once an empire formed on the Malabar coast by people you may have heard of, like Vasco da Gama, Saint Francis Xavier, Saint Ignatius was here, Abbe Faria, one of the missionaries who led the French Revolution and many more people. We're gonna dive into the local history, which I know less about, but I'm just as equally interested in. We're gonna see what we can learn and see if we can find some crocodiles. Yeah, crocodiles are big on the agenda for this trip, and apparently the Mapsa River has a lot of them. So we will be looking for crocodiles in a different video. All right, let's keep going. Here in Goa, you have these ferries that take you around from one island to the next. This one is going specifically from the old Goa area to Shirao Island. I biked around Shirao Island the other day, pretty sick. Yeah, so it's one way to get around. So something I wondered when I got to India was there are so many cows just on the streets anywhere. What do they eat? And that's your answer right there. They eat the trash. So it's a bit sad. They are sacred animals here, but not so sacred in what they consume, sadly. So one thing I've noticed here in India is they have these huge effigies that they build, and they're everywhere. Effigies are just typically like arms, legs, they're all like jacked and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're for ritual and religious purposes, but I'm not so sure. So if anyone has any idea why these huge, massive, ripped effigies are in people's front yards, on the side of roads here in Goa, let me know. It is so loud here. Okay. All right. We have already addressed that this part of India was once a Portuguese colony. What we have not addressed is that this road right behind me was once the longest bridge in the world. That road was not natural. It was built up, and the bridge here, and the bridge now just looks like a road, but in reality, it's a bridge because this is a causeway. This whole path that I've been driving on right now is a causeway called the Ponte de Linares Causeway. It was constructed in 1634, and when this bridge was constructed, the Ponte de Linares Causeway, it was the longest bridge in the world. So, would you have thought that the longest bridge in the world was at one point in India? Well, it was. It was. It was. Okay, so do you see what I mean? There are just some legs here made of plastic, and they're very jacked legs. And I'm guessing that under that tarp is probably a full body effigy of some kind, and the legs are still being worked on, so they're out here. But that's one mission that I'm trying to uncover here in India, is why all the effigies? What's going on? We're gonna figure it out together. I was reading on the internet that this site right behind me was once a 16th century Portuguese gunpowder factory, and they built all kinds of gunpowder warfare